I want to begin with a prepared statement from the We Are One Coalition. Our summit's purpose today was to move cooperatively towards an agreed pension funding solution. We had a discussion with Governor Pat Quinn, representatives from all legislative caucuses, and key stakeholders. In doing so, our union coalition has demonstrated our ability to work together constructively with all parties. The governor and legislative leaders should seize this opportunity and use the momentum from today's summit to finally, seriously negotiate a fair and constitutional solution that all parties can support. Our push for such a pension agreement will continue in the days and weeks to come.
It sounded like there was a lot of talk about revenue and raising revenue and not reducing benefits. How would you characterize the specifics of what was talked about?
Well, there was lots of discussion on lots of items. Revenue is certainly part of that. Closing corporate tax loopholes was also a big part of the discussion.
Where do you see, what revenues do you see raised? What taxes do you see increased? Or could it be done with the canned software loophole, or some of these other loopholes have been kicked around for a couple of years?
Mr. Ralph Martiri made a presentation which brought to bear several items where revenue could be raised from. I don't want to get into the specifics today. We put our hand out today with the principals of the various public sector unions. We said we need a structured process. We need to get this thing back on track. We need to do our utmost to get in a room, have serious discussions, and try to come to some kind of an agreement. We know it won't be easy. We know it's a huge problem. We know it's going to take a huge answer. But as I said in the closing, I made phone calls on June 1 of 2012, the day after the General Assembly ended their session, and said, let's take a quick break. Let's get a little relaxed. Let's rest up after the session, but then let's come back. 7 months plus later, we had not received a call or an email asking us to come and participate in a structure. We're frustrated, our members are frustrated, and because of that, we called for this summit.
Are there any pieces of legislation now that the union could support, or do you envision the final compromise will be some yet to be introduced piece of legislation?
Ben, I don't want to answer that today. Our group's going to meet. In fact, they're waiting on me to come back in. We're looking at all forms of legislation. You know, we're in true negotiations. You go in, you roll up your sleeve, you look at all the items, and then you evaluate it as a group.
Then one last question. Encouraged that the governor was here, disappointed that the speaker sent his letter. What's the message you're getting from the Democrats? And it is going to be the Democrats who ultimately decide.
The governor was here. I think our group was appreciative that he came and the amount of time that he spent, but we asked for an agreed process going forward, and we didn't get a real clear answer on that. But we reiterated it several times throughout the meeting, but all 4 of the caucuses were represented today. So we were pleased that the legislators came, but we'll see what comes in the coming days. So with that, I'm going to end. Thank you.